I am Kim Kelly, the CEO and co-founder of People Work. And what we do is help people evolve with work, which of course includes education and learning. And so today we're actually here with our partner in innovation, Dr. Ayers, who is the CTE Coordinator for Little Elm School District. Dr. Ayers, will you please explain what is CTE and inform people about what your role is as the CTE Coordinator?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. So CTE stands for Career and Technical Education. And if we went back a few decades, it's what most people would commonly refer to as vocational classes, if you ever had a home ec or shop class. But of course, we've evolved way past that now. We include everything from esports, video game design, welding, culinary arts, film photography, animation, nursing, and so forth. So it's gone well beyond the old idea of home ec and shop.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned all of those, really, I would say, almost life skills. I mean, sometimes when I talk about what we do with career and technical education, I always get the sidebar comment that, school systems don't teach the fundamentals of life anymore. And I say, okay, well, do you know what CTE is? And they're usually, well, I didn't even know it was a thing. And actually, the ironic part of where we're at right now to have this conversation is the welding room, which is like the modern version of shop. I mean, I took shop when I was in middle school, but I don't think I ever saw a welding space. So congratulations to you and the programs that you provided here for your students and for your parents and for the community that's going to be hiring your students. I want to start the conversation with what you just mentioned about way beyond what you experienced in high school, way beyond what even my children experienced in high school for what CTE is. It's not really just vocational, it's practical learning for life after high school. So tell me, in this series of innovation and how far we're going, how do you think AI is going to influence the programs that you offer or education just in general?
Absolutely. So artificial intelligence, as we know it today, everyone keeps asking about AI in the future. And in education, we can't think about it in the future because it already exists. So AI is the present, and it's a gift that just keeps giving and giving. Very specifically, what we're seeing, so in my role, I have to start taking into account future job opportunities, career paths for our students. And so when you start looking at it and you look at Department of Labor statistics, you see that 80% of the jobs that the students will be employed in by 2030, which is only 5 years away, realistically have not even been created yet, 80%. And if you think back even 20 years, the impact of social media had, I think we're going to see that same learning curve. No one would have thought of a social influencer or a social media guru of any sort, and yet we're seeing the same innovation curve with education in general and the market. The interesting thing is you always hear about teachers talking about cheating with AI, and realistically, when you get down to it, that's a distinguishing property between academic core teachers and CTE teachers. So in a traditional sense, our academic teachers are the ones that are traditionally or classically trained to be educators. They go through all the educational psychology classes, they learn how to engage the students and all that. And then their entire adult career, we're trying to refresh them on industry standards to become better subject matter experts. CT is the exact opposite. More times than not, we hire straight from industry, so we're hiring subject matter experts that we then have to train on educational psychology. So where the academic core sees it as an opportunity for students to cheat, realistically, AI is nothing more than the practical application of what we're doing. And in this case, CTE teachers usually have the mentality of we don't prevent students from cheating, we teach them to cheat more efficiently. Because in the business world, whoever has the competitive edge, and in this case it's AI, is usually the one that comes out top on market. So we have to prepare them to use AI. I could go down an allegorical rabbit hole and say, you teach a student to swim without ever getting wet, they're going to drown. And if we don't teach them how to ethically use AI, then that 80% of their jobs, those kids are not going to be qualified for them.
Well, I'm really interested in furthering what you actually revealed and the value of AI with what you just said, because it's about the teacher acting more as a tool to enhance the human side of what's happening inside of a classroom instead of the tactical and administrative side, which, I mean, if I was a teacher, I'd be like, I'm all day, every day about that. I would love to be able to focus on the mentality and the psychological well-being of and actually see and understand, is the student really learning? Is there a comprehension happening here versus did you check the box? Was I able to focus on this particular curriculum, et cetera? So I think that's a great way of introducing. We know what AI could be and how you're even starting to use it within your own programs, and how teachers have a debate of, how do they actually benefit from it? But what's the student's role? What's the student's role in all of this change and all of the curriculum that you're offering them?
Well, it's kind of interesting because I'm actually going to be presenting on this at ACTE here in December on the role of AI and its use in curriculum. What it really boils down to is that the student, there are three basic types of AI, right? So you have artificial narrow intelligence, which we've been using for 15, 20 years. That's like spell check and those sorts of things. They're single use. You have AGI, artificial general intelligence, which is what we're encountering now. And then you have a fictional piece called artificial sentient intelligence, which is like R2D2, C3PO, that sort of thing. We're only going to see those in movies and our stories and comic books and stuff. At least in my lifetime or our lifetimes. But that artificial general intelligence, if artificial narrow intelligence is any role model, we're going to see more and more people continue using it. Everything from humane to AI pen, where you can just literally tap and ask a question, it'll come up with an answer. If smartphones were Star Trek the original generation, then now we're looking at Star Trek the next generation with a simple pen on your person that can with a computer readily available.
This is like Scotty beam me up.
Exactly.
Kind of thing? Okay.
But now it'll be simply, hey, how much rain falls in the Sahara Desert every year? And it would be able to generate an answer almost instantly. And imagine students in the future, regardless of what career they're working on, something pops up, it immediately comes up on their device.
Mm-hmm. So it's been great to hear about all the things that you've been actioning. I think the key takeaway that I hope anybody watching this hears from you, your message, and what you've been doing for your school district is acting. You're not just taking information and sitting on it and pontificating about what could be for your students in your community that you serve. You're really saying, let's try the theory. Let's expose our kids to something that is going to be part of their life after high school. And I commend you for that. And I know that a lot of that work that you do sometimes gets blocked by community and social norms, if I will, about what people perceive as education is, the ridicule of the education system, not even just what CTE is. So what message would you like to share with the community that would give them a little bit of a different perspective on what you're faced with and how they could help you partner with that change?
Absolutely. So one of the big things that as an administrator in a public school district here in Texas that we face is struggling with retention of teachers. Everyone has seen all of the news broadcasts, the social media, all the reports about how we're starting to have a deficit of educators. And whenever we even have, we put together committees by the TEA to explore why teachers are leaving the teaching profession, a lot of things come up, pay, respect, all these sorts of things. Realistically, what it boils down to is a lot of the burden and the mental struggle that the teachers go through is trying to change a belief system that is in existence locally. The best example I can give is it's in a lot of places, it's socially acceptable to be bad in math. You ask a parent, oh, here, we're going to do this little calculation, and the parent automatically responds with, I'm so sorry, I'm really bad at math. And that's the end of the conversation, that we don't push further with trying to expand. And so those types of beliefs get brought down to the students, and then the teachers are fighting a social norm, a cultural norm within local communities. One of the things I would ask parents and communities in general to be aware of is just open your mind to the possibilities of what education is doing. There are things that we're exploring at the high school level that no one would ever have thought of. Great example is our drone program. We've been collaborating with wing.com. We've been collaborating with USI. Our students are walking away with their Part 107A commercial drones pilot license. And they're not just going out and flying drones like a hobby. They're going into the construction industry. They're going into real estate. They're going into not just commercial photography, but surveillance for law enforcement. All these different places that require a very complicated certification, and we're allowing the students to explore their choice of use while still obtaining that type of certification within our program.
Well, I think that's a good segue into, we know that the community perception and value of what education is so important. We see that around the world. China, they have a cultural understanding that the value of intelligence is one of their top 3 values as a society. Not education as an institute, but learning, knowledge, wisdom. And you see variations of that around the world. However, with our education system, I can't help but ask you if there was one thing you would change about our education system, or how we even think of education in the United States. What would that be?
There's a lot of ways I could go down rabbit holes with this. I could get on a soapbox for forever. But if I had to narrow it down, I would say changing the entire focus of education itself. For almost 75 years, the focus of education has been getting students college ready. And we all hope that our children will go to college, be smarter, better, and so forth. But statistics don't lie. When you look at it, depending upon where you are in the US, now here in Texas, we have about a 90% graduation rate of our high school seniors. But across the nation, we're looking at closer to a 65 to 70% graduation rate. So there's automatically 30% of our high school students that are getting no college education. Now then, fast forward to the students who are graduating from high school. Well, honestly, about 2/3 of them start college, which is great, but that's another third that's not going to college. Finally, those who do go to college, 1 in 3 actually graduate with their college degree. So what we're realistically looking at is across the United States, anywhere from 65 to 80% of all of our high school students are entering the career force with no higher education background, no degree beyond high school, and in some cases, not even high school. So if we changed our focus in education from every student's going to college to every student's going to have a career, and then college can further that career, then we have the potential of upping the post-graduation cycle and making it more important to those who want to go into the leadership. Not every child's going to be a manager or a CEO, but those who will already have the motivation to go to college. So that's the one thing I would change, is just change the focus. We need to be introducing career exploration from kindergarten up, not just at the secondary level.
Well, I think that is a good opportunity for you to show us your campus so that we can get more familiar with this magic that you've been doing to help change the future of what's life after high school for your students, your parents, your community, and your school. So let's go take a walk.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're about to show us one of the rooms that are totally focused on creating and developing some in-demand skills of the future. And which room is this?
This is our future esports lab. So what we're seeing here is a room that is, honestly, it's in transition. This summer, we decided to invest heavily into the room itself. The walls have been painted a non-traditional color, which is this dark navy blue. We'll wind up putting down LED lights. Even in these cloud panels will be backlit with LED lights. The entire room is getting esports specifically designed furniture just for our students. We'll have gaming consoles set up. The wall behind me, while it looks like just a normal like coach's office set up and stuff, this entire wall
full with the Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, this wall will be actually set up with 2x2, so 4 65-inch LED TVs,
Okay.
specifically for broadcasting what's happening on the gaming computers themselves.
Oh, wow.
So we will be live shoutcasting actual esports games from this room to Discord or wherever it is that the teacher decides to live broadcast, whether it's YouTube Live or what, I'm not entirely sure yet. Each one of the walls will have 2 65-inch TVs on them as well for output so that we can, as spectators, can see what's happening in the room itself.
So we at PeopleWork know that your students have a wide variety of skills that are in process of developing for proficiencies, because obviously Dr. Ayers uses our AI career assistant to help the students transition post high school life. What other ways has the PeopleWork app either helped your students or given you the information that you need to even connect this curriculum to industry or other information that you've been able to use to basically enhance your vision of the program?
Well, one of the things you and I had set up originally was that the companies that were getting involved in offering our students positions were also being recruited into being advisory board members. And in doing so, a theme started developing, and I started noticing things like the more successful corporations conglomerize. And so not just meaning, oh, we're going to buy up small companies, but places like Meta has their own culinary kitchens. They have their own construction crews. It's not just a bunch of students sitting around computers programming all day long.
Yeah,
and
little villages.
Exactly. Yeah. And so what we've decided to do, or I've decided to do here, is do the same thing with specific programs. So here in the esports, this is the lure. This is the hook, the shiny lure that's going to bring the students in. Realistically, they're going to be trained to be not only professional gamers, they're going to be training to be cybersecurity managers, shoutcasters, business managers, event planners, the whole 9 yards. And what that does is allows us to place them in just about any industry they want with the background of esports as their focal point.
Yeah. So I just to translate that for all of our business watchers, business viewers who are looking at developing and building their future workforce, the translation to me through exactly what we do with PeopleWork is saying that you're never going to be a resume. You are a set of varied skills that can be transferable to a variety of job functions. You could be under one house of Meta and then do 5,000 versions of a job throughout your working lifetime. That's the future of work. So let's go see one more of your crafty spaces. I call it crafty because it's way beyond what I experienced in high school. So I want to see another working space.
Absolutely.
I forgot to ask you, are you actually going to ACTE this
Well,
year?
in December I will, but not CTAT.
Okay.
So what we have here is our culinary kitchen.
Okay.
So obviously this is a fully functioning kitchen, and then over to the side we also have a restaurant that opens to the public this fall.
Well, I'm pretty impressed, obviously, by your culinary
Thank you.
kitchen. I mean, I don't even think that's a kitchen. That's like a hotel kitchen. It's pretty serious. So I'm definitely curious now. Obviously, we got to meet each other over just common, interesting conversation around CTE. Then you became a customer of PeopleWorks. So would you mind telling me, after almost a year now, why did you become a customer of PeopleWorks, and did we help you learn anything new about your students?
Absolutely. So prior to us meeting, one of the difficulties the district had was trying to place our students in internships in the local community. I mean, it was a lot of legwork.
Yeah.
And then as you and I talked, you convinced me that you could take over a lot of that legwork for me, and it looked very promising. And it turned out really well too. But prior to us working together, that's where like this restaurant came into play. So the restaurant is run by the students.
Yeah.
And so it was a place for us to have an internal internship by opening it to the public. And likewise, if you see, look right over here, we have a smart branch, pardon me. We have a smart branch of the CUTX that they have one employee that works here, but it is really run by all the students, and it has an external doorway as well, so it's open to the public. And if you, I mean, it's fully run by the students. And CUTX went into partnership with us so that we could offer the internships to the students. We also have an ATM for them for customers to use. And like I said, and all the students who work here also get a scholarship from CUTX.
Wow, well, I love that industry partnership. This is
Yeah.
like reality in the making. I love it.
Yeah. So it's and these are great, but as you can see, I've shown you 4 spaces out of 18 programs of study.
It's a lot of,
And so those are the 4 most developed. And the problem is that I can only develop it when I have industry partners, which is where PeopleWorks comes in to play. You're able to help me facilitate faster and grow more stably in the direction that we need.
yeah, your work-based learning, your internship, your
Yes.
practicum programs. And that's always been fun because with our industry partners, some of them are still getting familiar with what it means to work with a high school student.
Yes.
There's a lot of judgment that comes when you say high schooler.
Well, and it goes back to that whole idea of community
Yes.
perception is still
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. So it takes a village to raise a high schooler these days, especially in dealing with AI, dealing with different legislative changes. But obviously, people like you are willing to take the charge, working with crazy people like me to help make it a reality after high school. So I appreciate the conversation today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Of course.